This video is going to be an introduction to using compound light microscopes. When you get out your microscope, you need to carry it by the arm and the base to your lab table, and then you'll unwrap the cord and plug it into the table's outlet. Then you will turn on the light switch. So if the circle is pressed, then it's off. You want to turn it so that the line is pressed. And then you have this dimmer here that can control, that's one feature you can use to control the amount of light. So looking at the light bulb here, as I turn that dimmer all the way up, that's very bright. You don't want it to be that bright. That would hurt your eyes. So instead you want to use the dimmer to turn down to about a third, just a little less than half of the light. So you can see how that dial is turned a little less than halfway there. All right, and then you're going to be looking through the eyepiece. We have binocular microscopes, so you look through with both eyes, and you can adjust how far apart the two parts to the eyepiece are to match the width of your eyes, or the width, between them. And then I'm just going to be looking through on one side with my camera, but you would look through with both eyes, and when you look into the microscope, you can see that there is this black line there, and that is just something that's always there. It can be used as a pointer to point something out to other people, and it's only in one side of the eyepiece. Okay, so the next thing is you would almost always want to start off by viewing your object on scanning power. So I'm going to turn using the revolving nose piece so that the scanning power objective is in place. We'll be ready to go there. And then you need to get your slide. First, we're going to start off by looking at a letter E slide. Okay, so this is a prepared slide. It's already been made. And there in the middle, we have a little cutout of a letter E. And so, just looking straight down at the slide, we can see how the E looks upside down. And so for the activity that we're using, you would draw how that letter appears upside down. Okay? Next up, you want to put your slide onto the stage. All right, so we have some kind of funny stage clips. Notice how I'm keeping the slide turned facing the same way as I just had it so I could read the label. And then with our stage clips, you're going to kind of pull the lever out to the side. All right. So this is probably a little hard for me to do while holding my phone. But basically you pull the lever out and you tuck the slide into the opposite corner back there. And now it's in place. It's not above the metal. It's just laying flat on the stage. Okay, now next thing you're going to want to do is move your sample so that it's lined up directly over the light. Okay, so mine's actually pretty much right there already, but let's say, when I put it on, it was like this. I'd have to use the stage controls down here, and the top one moves the slide forward and backward, the bottom one moves the slide left and right. Okay, so I would want to use those to get my E, again, just right over the aperture, which is that little glass window where the light comes through. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is you want to raise your stage all the way up. Okay, so you can do that using the coarse focus knob. So here I'm going to raise, this would be lowering it, but I want to raise it all the way up as high as it can go. And then while I'm looking through the eyepiece, I'm going to lower the stage down. Okay, so make sure I have it all the way up. Yeah. All right, now while I'm looking through the eyepiece here, I want to slowly lower it down until it comes into focus. And there, it's pretty much in focus. Okay, try to get you a better image of that. And my E is a little off to the side there, so I'm going to look through and use the stage controls to move it more towards the middle. Okay, so this is the letter E on scanning power. You can take a picture of that there. This is what you want to draw in your first box. And you want to draw it to fill as much of your circle here as it does looking through the microscope. You can always go back to where we just were. You know, it's like something roughly in this range. You want to make that line, you know, take your time to make it look like the thickness of what we saw in the microscope. So you'd want to draw it better than that. Now next, if you want to go from scanning up to low power, you just leave your slide exactly where it is, and it should be really clear on scanning before you move up. But since I have a nice clear image, I'm going to just go ahead and move up to low power. All right, and then from there, I'm going to look through the microscope, and I'm going to use the coarse focus knob first to make really small adjustments, and then make even further small adjustments using the fine focus. Okay, and then this is what we get. So you can see just one part of the E now. So go ahead and snap a picture. Try one more time. There, that's good. And you want to draw that to fill the circle just like it is there. Okay, so here we're going to have something it's a little bit more like roughly more in that range, but make yours neater and stay inside the circle, okay? And then lastly, how do I go to high power? Well, I have it nice and clear here on low power. I don't move the slide, I don't move the stage. I just go, since it's in focus on low power, I can just go straight to high power. Look, it almost looks like it's gonna hit, but it's not going to. At this point, I cannot use the coarse adjustment knob. Again, cannot use this part, no, because that would move the stage too much and it could crack the slide. Instead, I'm only going to use the fine adjustment knob at this point. Okay, so I'm going to look through and I am going to make a very subtle movement of the slide with the stage control. And then I'm only using the fine focus knob, okay, as far as not using the coarse focus knob. All right, now let's see if we can get a decent image of what is visible there. It's gonna be a little harder on high power. Look, it's just like a fuzzy black line. That's it, right there. That fuzzy border is the edge of where the line in the E is. Okay? So here, it's gonna be something more along the lines of, and again, you take your time to do this neatly. But you'd have a solid line and it's just like a little fuzzy along the edge there. All right, now when you're on high power, sometimes you will want to increase the light, okay? And there's two ways to increase the light. You can use the dimmer here, but there is also another feature that you can use that's called the diaphragm, okay? It's this little lever right here, and it slides side to side. And what it's controlling is the amount of light that passes through the aperture. So let's get this steady, okay? And so you can see more light, less light, more light, less light. And that has to do with controlling basically kind of like your eye. The iris can make the pupil smaller or bigger. That is controlling here whether the opening is smaller or bigger that the light travels through. Okay, let's say I'm all done, ready to put away my microscope. Well, step one, you want to make sure to turn this back to the low power objective. That helps to protect that high power objective when you put it away. Take the slide off, return it please to the tray that it goes on, matching it up with the numbers. So I'd put it next to 20. And then you would unplug your microscope, wrap the cord nice and neatly so that it looks like this, okay? And then you would take it and put it back into the cabinet. So that's a general overview for how to use a compound light microscope.